returning with their booty from a successful chase. While the savage respects more or less the souls of all animals, he treats with particular deference the spirits of such as are either especially useful to him, or formidable on account of their size, strength, or ferocity. Accordingly the hunting and killing of these valuable or dangerous beasts are subject to more elaborate rules and ceremonies than the slaughter of comparatively useless and insignificant creatures. Thus the Indians of Nootka Sound prepared themselves for catching whales by observing a fast for a week, during which they ate very little, bathed in the water several times a day, sang, and rubbed their bodies, limbs, and faces with shells and bushes, till they looked as if they had been severely torn with briars. They were likewise required to abstain from any commerce with their women for the like period, this last condition being considered indispensable to their success. A chief who failed to catch a whale has been known to attribute his failure to a breach of chastity on the part of his men. It should be remarked that the conduct thus prescribed as a preparation for whaling is precisely that which in the same tribe of Indians was required of men about to go on the war path. Rules of the same sort are, or were formerly, observed by Malagasy whalers. For 8 days before they went to sea the crew of a whaler used to fast, abstaining from women and liquor, and confessing their most secret faults to each other; and if any man was found to have sinned deeply, he was forbidden to share in the expedition. In the island of Mabuiag continence was imposed on the people before they went to hunt the dugong and while the turtles were pairing. The turtle season lasts during the parts of October and November, and if at that time unmarried persons had sexual intercourse with each other, it was believed that when the canoe approached the floating turtle, the male would separate from the female, and both would dive down in different directions. So at Mowat, in New Guinea, men have no relation with women when the turtle are coupling, though there is considerable laxity of morals at other times. In the island of Uap, one of the Caroline group, every fisherman plying his craft lies under a most strict taboo during the whole of the fishing season, which lasts for 6 or 8 weeks. Whenever he is on shore he must spend all his time in the men's club house, and under no pretext whatever may he visit his own house, or so much as look upon the faces of his wife and womenkind. Were he but to steal a glance at them, they think that flying fish must inevitably bore out his eyes at night. If his wife, mother, or daughter brings any gift for him, or wishes to talk with him, she must stand down towards the shore with her back turned to the men's club house. Then the fisherman may go out and speak to her, or with his back turned to her he may receive what she has brought him; after which he must return at once to his rigorous confinement. Indeed, the fishermen may not even join in dance and song with the other men of the club house in the evening; they must keep to themselves and be silent. In Mirzapur, when the seed of the silkworm is brought into the house, the Kol or Puyar puts it in a place which has been carefully plastered with holy cow dung to bring good luck. From that time the owner must be careful to avoid ceremonial impurity. He must give up cohabitation with his wife. He may not sleep on a bed, nor shave himself, nor cut his nails, nor anoint himself with oil, nor eat food cooked with butter, nor tell lies, nor do anything else that he deems wrong. He vows to Singarmati Devi that, if the worms are duly born, he will make her an offering. When the cocoons open and the worms appear, he assembles the women of the house, and they sing the same song as at the birth of a baby, and red lead is smeared on the parting of the hair of all the married women of the neighbourhood. When the worms pair, rejoicings are made as at a marriage. Thus the silkworms are treated as far as possible like human beings. Hence the custom which prohibits the commerce of the sexes while the worms are hatching may be only an extension, by analogy, of the rule which is observed by many races, that the husband may not cohabit with his wife during pregnancy and lactation. In the island of Nias the hunters sometimes dig pits, cover them lightly over with twigs, grass, and leaves, and then drive the game into them. While they are engaged in digging the pits they have to observe a number of taboos. They may not spit, or the game would turn back in disgust from the pits. They may not laugh, or the sides of the pit would fall in. They may eat no salt, prepare no fodder for swine, and in the pit they may not scratch themselves, for if they did the earth would be loosened and would collapse. And the night after digging the pit they may have no intercourse with a woman, or all their labour would be in vain. This practice of observing strict chastity as a condition of success in hunting and fishing is very common among rude races, and the instances of it which have been cited render it probable that the rule is always based on a superstition rather than on a consideration of the temporary weakness which a breach of the custom may entail on the hunter or fisherman. In general, it appears to be supposed that the evil effect of incontinence is not so much that it weakens him as that, for some reason or other, it offends the animals, who in consequence will not suffer themselves to be caught. A Carrier Indian of British Columbia used to separate from his wife for a full month before he set traps for bears, and during this time he might not drink from the same vessel as his wife, but had to use a special cup made of birch bark. The neglect of these precautions would cause the game to escape after it had been snared, and when he was about to snare martins, the period of continence was cut down to 10 days. An examination of all the many cases in which the savage bridles his passions and remains chaste from motives of superstition would be instructive, but I cannot attempt it now. I will only add a few miscellaneous examples of the custom before passing to the ceremonies of purification which are observed by the hunter and fisherman after the chase and the fishing are over. The workers in the salt pans near Sipoam in Laos must abstain from all sexual relations at the place where they are at work, and they may not cover their heads nor shelter themselves under an umbrella from the burning rays of the sun. Among the Kachins of Burma the ferment used in making beer is prepared by 2 women, chosen by lot, who during the 3 days that the process lasts may eat nothing acid, and may have no conjugal relations with their husbands, otherwise it is supposed that the beer would be sour. Among the Masai honey wine is brewed by a man and a woman, who live in a hut set apart for them till the wine is ready for drinking; but they are strictly forbidden to have sexual intercourse with each other during this time. It is deemed essential that they should be chaste for 2 days before they begin to brew, and for the whole of the 6 days that the brewing lasts. The Masai believe that were the couple to commit a breach of chastity, not only would the wine be undrinkable, but the bees which make the honey would fly away. Similarly, they require that a man who is making poison should sleep alone and observe other taboos which render him almost an outcast. The Wandorobo, a tribe of the same region as the Masai, believe that the mere presence of a woman in the neighbourhood of a man who is brewing poison would deprive the poison of its venom, and that the same thing would happen if the wife of the poison maker were to commit adultery while her husband was brewing the poison. In this last case it is obvious that a rationalistic explanation of the taboo is impossible. How could the loss of virtue in the poison be a physical consequence of the loss of virtue in the poison maker's wife? Clearly the effect which the wife's adultery is supposed to have on the poison is a case of sympathetic magic. Her misconduct sympathetically affects her husband at his work at a distance. We may accordingly infer with some confidence that the rule of continence imposed on the poison maker himself is also a simple case of sympathetic magic, and not, as a civilised reader might be disposed to conjecture, a wise precaution designed to prevent him from accidentally poisoning his wife. Among the Bar Pedi and Bar Thonga tribes of South Africa
When the site of a new village has been chosen and the houses are building, all the married people are forbidden to have conjugal